real cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, I all right, wherever you want to start,
All right,
man. Yeah,
let's
Memphis Jokes
let
is
me
my
let,
is one of
let
my
me
guys.
let me start. All right, welcome to the National Newspaper Publicists Association's Let It Be Known. As we continue to celebrate the 50th anniversary of hip hop, not only are some of the younger stars doing big things, but the trailblazers are also holding it down. For instance, are you among the growing number of folk who see or realize that social media is all over the place? As our dude and legendary Public Enemy founder Chuck D says, everybody feels like they got a mic and a camera and they're a superstar. Now, Chuck has announced the launch of a new culture media app, and it's aimed to combat the toxicness, if that's a word, that has plagued other social media platforms. The app, which Chuck recently announced while a guest on Chris Cuomo's new show, Cuomo on NewsNation, is called Bring the Noise, and it'll go live on March 15th. Today, we are bringing the noise with the one and only Mr. Chuck D. What's up, Chuck?
Thank you, Stacey. I had to get it in, man. I had to get it in with you. I'm in a day of a blizzard of really in a 2-month period in a time of blizzards of Zooms and Streamcast and battles of technologies. And I'm really blessed to get an opportunity to be able to speak with you and your show and your platform about what we're about to do. And it's a big undertaking, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, Chuck, we always say, big salute to you because, like so many others, I mean, not like so many others, you never forget the Black press, and you're one of our living legends, and you don't forget us at all. We
Well,
appreciate that much.
I want it to be more on the top of my list, and I want to be on the top of the Black press list, and this is happening in a good way, because you know what you're doing, Stacey, is that now we as a people are really getting fully acclimated at all ages onto these technologies, where maybe 10 years ago was a gap, maybe 5 years ago was a gap, especially before the pandemic. And it seemed like the pandemic in a weird way made the older people or older demographic catch up, because
Right.
everybody was sequestered in their crib. I mean, you never thought that the government would actually come out and really reveal the gangster that they are, that by saying, your ass better stay in the house or we'll get you if the virus don't get you. So I was looking at cats I consider like real tough cats. And I'm like, well, you ain't left the crib? Nah, man, I ain't leave the crib. So everybody in the United States of America was in a house for at least a 3 to 4 week period. I thought would be impossible.
Right.
And this allowed a lot of people to catch up, to realize that their new realities were taking place, or they better get on it or be out. And I'm very happy that we locked up during that particular time, and we did some things, and I want to do much more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us about the app, Chuck, because again, a culture app, this is so important, especially coming from where you sit.
Yeah, I mean, it's called Bring the Noise. Our launch is March 15th. It's sort of like a soft launch. We've been beta testing since December. And the key for beta testing is that you allow a demographic of people inside it so they can use the app, they can explore, and with the sole intention of making it crash as much as possible. And our developer is a genius of a brother. I call him the magic man, and I'll just leave it at that. Basically, just if you had to put it in regular people's terms, it's like TikTok 35 and up, but culture, and okay, yeah, it's culture media. We want to kind of highlight music, art, film, the written word, and highlight it more. Now, we're not going to be uninviting to somebody 35 and under just to give it a number or whatever. And we know ratchetism is everywhere, but we're not going to be interesting enough for a younger demographic. They already got places they go to. And we're not even telling people like, hey, stop using Twitter, stop using
Right.
Facebook. You need to get off of YouTube. No, we ain't saying none of that. All these things are useful. We're saying that we're that corner bar, and this is what we do, and this is what this is for.
Right.
This came out of the conversation a couple of years ago with my managing partner when I said, "Listen, I'm not in the business of making black people look bad. That is my MO. I ain't in the business of making black folk look bad. Doesn't mean I ain't working with everybody. I got white folks that work with me and everything. We all work together, whatever. But my business is not making black folk look bad. I'm always at the gate of our culture and our accountability, responsibility as a people. Now, my question to everybody was like, well, hell, when do we start making important greater, if not greater, great as, if not greater than popularity? I mean, we're importance gotta that's part of us too. Doesn't mean it's gotta be all tight. This ain't religion, it ain't none of that. It's like yeah, it's dope, but it's important too. And I said that I want that to be our goal. So in 2022, Laurie Buller took on the workings with combination of young brother from the BBC producer Yemi and Danielle Peck and people in the BBC to be able to also corrugate with the PBS system to come up with Fight the Power, how hip hop changed the world.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too.
And out of that, we said, well, this is the first narrative of making important from the art form rank alongside popularity. Because every time they want to talk about black folks, they truncate us into like, okay, this is the one that brought the most bells and whistles and the shaking lights, and the minute that the prime time is the only time that we go pop or national or even beyond. And I'm like, well, damn, man. Before Dr. Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech, he had a whole, damn, you got to mention the Montgomery bus boycott and another thing.
Letters from the Birmingham jail.
Exactly. So, before Jackie Robinson hit Major League Baseball, it was the Negro Leagues prior 10 years up to that had the momentum, and the black writers, the black press that covered, which was also our national pastime that we wanted to become a bigger part. Hell, yeah, Jackie Robinson in 1946 playing minor league baseball in Montreal, Canada. What happened if that year went sideways? You don't get a 1947, but when we have the narrative of the black story is always our biggest headline and nothing else ever counts. So yeah, the Jesse Jackson, we're going on the 40th year since Reverend Jesse Jackson was running for president. That was significant, but lost in the end of the time from back then up to now, to the point where, well, y'all have Obama, so the Jesse Jackson thing don't even count. or when Dick Gregory ran for president in 1968, people really don't know nothing about that, or Shirley Chisholm in 72. So my thing is, like, when it comes down to hip hop, there's so many things that led it up to be what it is. We wanted to have a socio-political commentary on it. So that proved to us that, yeah, importance could turn some heads. Yeah, we got Fat Joe and Eminem talking about the accountability and responsibility of black culture. And y'all ain't used to, not only y'all not used to getting this, y'all ain't never going to ask them the questions that they already equipped to answer, just in their love for the art form and knowing that they got to be accountable to black folk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you make the media
That's
accountable? You make the media accountable by saying, number one, social media is a concoction of the creation of technologies who basically ain't social people. But they created the formats and the technologies, and they said that human beings will follow. That's why follow is a big word. Follow is a big word in the tech field, because there ain't no other choices. You ain't got no choice. If you got the gadget, you gonna follow what they say.
Well, I want to
go ahead, Stacey.
Yeah, so I want to go back. We're gonna get back to the app in a moment, but
yes,
you
sir.
mentioned "Fight the Power," the docuseries on PBS. The song, of course, is one of the most strongest songs in hip hop history. take us to the beginning of your Fight the Power docuseries and what made you want to put it out now.
Well, Fight the Power, we borrowed it because the first time, I was moved by Fight the Power. The phrase and the words was the Isley Brothers in 1975, which moved me as a teenager. Matter of fact, it was the first song I heard that had a curse word in it that they had to beep out, but it was the conditions that were surrounding us as a Black people that sat with me. So the term sat with me. And I'm born in 1960, so I remember a decade of uncertainty with thinking like, well, damn, if you run for president, you might get assassinated. If you have a bigger voice, you might get assassinated. If you group up together and learn about the law, like the Black Panthers, they were a bunch of college students and intellectuals. You get assassinated, what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell? And everybody's still coming back from a war that nobody could say what it was. So
Vietnam.
It wasn't that, like wasn't that we were asleep, we're sponges. We shorties that's like sponging everything around us. So Fight the Power was in the bloodstream as a feeling, as a vibe, as a pulse anyway, since day one on me. So the song was what it was. Coincidentally, Stacey, it's funny that last year was a whole bunch of like side-eyed views, man, trolls and scrolls. Like, yo, Chuck, you said Elvis was a racist, man. And, I said, why? Because you watched the Elvis movie? It's one difference between propaganda and prop agendas. But I've been down that road and I explained the Elvis thing to people, but they, people follow.
Right.
So they fail to realize in 1989, I'm writing a song that's a part in the soundtrack to the movie Do the Right Thing. But younger heads don't know that because they can't connect the song to the film. And in the film, the significant line that I knew I had to write the song from is Giancarlo Esposito pointing to Danny Aiello's character and saying, hey, Sal, how come there ain't no Black people on the wall? So therefore, I'm writing a song in the third verse about kind of like tearing down Americans' icons because we ain't got nobody in the wall, so we're going to take everything down off the wall. So
it's like our colleague Barrington Salmon said, tear it down, burn it down.
Yeah, take the wall down. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a fan of burning down the whole store, but or throwing the garbage can through the window. But I'm like saying, yo, you in this community, so put some Black people up on the wall too. And that's what the song is about, Fight the Power, as well as all the other things in the film. Fast forward up to 2020 when the protests happened in the realm of the pandemic and the assassination of George Floyd in Minneapolis area. And young people thought that Fight the Power was a theme that fit that moment. And I was like, yo, why don't y'all come up with your own theme? And unanimously by the arts community headed by Questlove, who's our Quincy Jones, and the artist community and the young people in the streets said, Fight the Power. Sorry, Chuck. Sorry, your OG. This ain't really your call on this. This is our call. And we're going to use Fight the Power. And I had to be the one that said, well, you know what? I ain't going to argue with that because I took Fight the Power. So, and it was good being part of that. Even the song and the video redo, I spoke to the moment. It was powerful. And then that was that. So out of Fight the Power being that three-worded theme, the talks about the accountability and the responsibility to rap music and hip hop, especially entering this 50th year. I mean, well, why not? It's a no-brainer. Right. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't do something like that, and I ain't gonna have those conversations with PBS and BBC by myself. I'm not a person that has corporate boardroom meetings and talks and stuff like that. I could start it, jumpstart it. I'm up out of the way. I could finish it, but I ain't gonna be going. So that's to part of my detriment too. That's why you see me up in shiny suites and in the lights and all that stuff, because I just like I really I'm an artist, man. I'm not a businessman.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whenever you hear like, oh, so and so's a businessman, I'm like, yeah, that's great for public and press releases and the wow, the masses, but business people are unheard, unseen, and usually the ones that are pulling the levers and pulling the strings down so they could keep those things going in front of them. And I'm not saying this is not a business collaboration effort, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to have conversations in those rooms ever. So
So
I'm
Chuck,
going to be at the gate, and so you know my team is able to really pull this off and put together a very concise
yeah.
documentary. And like, hey, I have to put it to you this way: the Black Brits from the international, they're gonna look from the outside in and nail a story that we should be nailing inside this country, but we don't have not only that the total knowledge, the dexterity, and we don't even have the license to understand what's happening in the world at all times to be able to come out and say that our narrative should be accepted for even the things that we created.
Yeah. Well, you talk about that a lot. If folks follow you on social media, on Twitter especially, they hear this. They see you talk about this. And I think, Chuck, and I know you see it. It goes over so many of their heads, though.
Yeah, like 120-mile-an-hour fastballs. That's what
Absolutely.
I mean. It's like but it's you got to understand who you are. I know who I am, and you got to know what you're surrounded by, and know what you're here for. I mean, I already got that off of just being a MC.
Yeah.
It's like I could throw a bar at you, and because you don't get the bar, don't mean the bar is legit. It's like you don't have to understand it. You got to grow to understand it. It's like I threw a bar past you that passed you like an '86 taxi cab. Now somebody might not even understand that. It's like, what do you mean by '86 taxi cab, dog? You all up here with it? Yeah, I'm not really all up here. You got to grow up to get that. So
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't I be used to that in discussion forays or whatever? But I'm doing art books now, and art,
Yeah.
they
I was
used to
gonna mention
say,
that too.
well, they say, picture tells 1,000 words, but in this day, people listen with their eyes,
Yeah.
and
And,
this
and
is
I was going
what's
to mention that too because Living Loud is the name of Chuck's latest book. It's an art
yeah,
book. It's over the years, at least the last half dozen years, you've been delving real deep into the arts, combining elements in your work. While, as you
yeah.
know, they're still trying to change the world. So we got Living Loud, which
Well,
I've heard.
yeah,
Let me tell you what somebody said about Living Loud.
art ain't even trying to change the world. My art is always just like what's going on to me. This is another thing that's gonna bug you out. I got this coming out in June. This is like this is crazy. You drop this off a building, it's gonna kill somebody. This is how much illustrations are in this 3-volume series called Studio,
Mm,
which is the Naffic grovels of Chuck D. So when this is released, I think I'm going to be able to do a show and get this over to you. And it's crazy. It's
wow.
absolutely nuts. And because we have our imprint with Johnny Temple's Akashic Brooks, and he's done a lot of prestigious releases as a book publishing company. And Enemy Books is as a sub label through it, and I'm releasing 6 to 8 books a year. Wow.
Wow. Wow. I'm working on one a year.
Well, I'm helped out by doing illustrations, Stacy. So the written word is
Well,
still a difficult one.
the illustrations. I love talking to you about your sketches and he did one of me. So
Yeah, right. You're in one. Matter of fact, you're in one of these books. As a matter of fact, you're in one of these books. It's crazy that you said that because I think we got some minutes and seconds, and because this book right here is about it's 40 Days of Red October. And I'm not even supposed to be promoting this now, but we're just doing an organic interview anyway. This is like the 40 days of Donald Trump leading up to the presidential election. And it's not even covering the insurrection, And in the back is like got some of the things I might have posted up, you know. But yeah, it's crazy, man.
yeah,
It's
and
crazy.
what got you I mean, I know you've always had that talent, obviously, but more recently, in recent years, I should say, last half dozen years, you've been doing a lot of sketching. Why is that, Chuck?
I got tired of typing. I was a pretty good writer from 98 to 2010, and then I got tired of typing and then my laptop, and I'm like, in my mind, which is not true, I'm like, oh man, people ain't reading. If I write an essay, they want it truncated short, and I hear that. And then I started putting my pen to paper.
Yeah.
And once I start putting my pen to paper, here, you got Doc Ben up in here. I mean, all kinds of, and I got a page. Once I start putting my pen to paper, then the ideas start to flow. Looks like I'm writing a song or whatever. It's crazy, man. And here you go. Yeah, and I don't do exact.
There, and that's my WhatsApp picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yep. There I go.
It's got this, and but I mean, look, it starts from like these things you get at Barnes and Noble for $7. And this is a book I'm working on for like 2024. And all it is the moments that met me. Yeah. And after a while, you do a little bit like I never met a black president in the United States. I didn't have a chance to meet President Obama. But my first black president I met was Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings from Ghana in 92. Nice. And the tripped out thing, I'm able to do Total Recall. So here we just sat with the president in Ghana 92 at a conference meeting, right? And then after the conference meeting, we walk on out, and the dude like looks at us, we shake hands with him, puts on his helmet and glasses, and he jumps into a fighter jet.
Wow. Wow.
and fuels it up, and the jet goes like damn near like 30, 40 feet, and boom, into the Ghanaian sky.
Yeah.
Now, after you see that, are you impressed by anything else? I'm like, this dude's a black president. This is not only he's a black president.
Yeah.
And we don't know when that ever is going to happen in the United States of America. This is 1992.
Right.
And the dude daps us up, puts on a helmet, puts on shades, gets in a fighter jet, and disappears in the Ghanaian African sky. I'm like, yo, really? So after that, I'm like, I'm not a dude getting in a Lamborghini. I'm looking at cats like, you don't even know, dog. I mean, what?
Wow. But listen, we gotta get back to the ABBA. We also gotta get to hip hop at 50 as well. A little bit more on that. But first, though, my two of my favorite artists ever, Prince and Chuck D. Y'all hit the stage together. I saw it once. If I seen it 1,000 times, man. What was that like, Chuck? I heard Prince talk about what was it like for him being on that stage with you. And
really?
Of course, we know, yeah, and Musicology, he shouts you out in that song, Musicology, right?
I'll never understand how Prince took to me, because we had a conversation, and this was in first time I really met him was like 1999. And we met in Manhattan, and we had a conversation, and he's like, yo, man, I really admire what you're doing. I'm like, well, you Prince, you already know what I think of you, man. So it was like that. And then he said, I want to see if you, be open to do a project with me. And I was like, this is a no-brainer.
Right.
So we flew out well, it's just a whole story in itself, man. Like Charlie Murphy, who I grew up down the street in Roosevelt from, he tell that Prince story, the pancakes. I got Prince story when I get out there to Paisley Park, me and my manager partner at the time, and dude's got like a lawn sale. He's got like a yard sale on the Paisley Park.
Prince got a yard sale.
Yard sale, like, selling guitars and amps and memorabilia, and people was like, walking in that part, they picking up, and Prince like, yeah, I'll take a little off of this guitar for you. And like, it's like
give it discounts.
Yo, for real. Like, yeah, this amp, I used this amp back in the day. Let me see. See if we fix the price for this lady. And like, I mean, and stuff is on the lawn. So we go in there. and we talk about this. So we talking all day. We just talking. And then we like, all right, let's knock this song out. And he had the track, and I wrote to the track in a room. And then, you know, he says, all right, cool. Wait out here in the lobby. So I go out in the lobby, and I look through the glass into the studio because he's doing it all himself. He's engineering it. He
Right.
recorded my vocals. Boom. He said, yo, I'll be out there in a minute, you know? So I'm looking kind of through the glass as I'm sitting in the lobby, and it's like he's making a salad, man. It's like tape is going like this, and it's like da 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 da. You know, like after like, you know, maybe an hour, he says, yo, check this out. Come on in. We go back in, and shit is like glass. The song's like glass. It ended up being undisputed.
Undisputed.
So every once in a while, you know, Dougie was tight with Prince, and a couple other people were tight with Prince. But every time he would show up, yo, Chuck, come on down. And what Prince would do after a concert, he'd be having the after show, and you had to get on the mic and rock with him. So I didn't have the abilities like Dougie. Could also go into a beatbox. He could also go into like, you know, spontaneous rhymes and stuff like that. I was locked into my PE rhyming persona, and I had a bunch of freestyles, but my freestyles would run out because Prince would play all damn night. But he had respect for me, so so we were touring together in Australia at that particular time, and you know, just invited us down to the concert they were playing. And sure enough, like, Chuck, come up. The first Flavor ran on stage. So once he ran on stage, you know, he gonna be up there. And then so I'm good. I'm like, yo, Chuck, come on, Chuck, come on. I'm like, can't I just like enjoy the concert? Nope. Get on there, and you know, he rocked the bass line and I rocked the freestyle.
Yeah, that's listen, that's gold, as they say, classic right
Yeah.
there. But hip
Yeah.
hop is at 50, Chuck. You know, we know some big things are planned this year, and next year is the start of the opening, the grand opening of the Universal Hip Hop Museum in the Bronx, where it all started.
Mhm.
What should we, from your perspective, let me say it this way, what are you looking forward to most? You guys hit the Grammy stage a month ago, and took part in that celebration. There's a lot more to come. What are you looking forward to most? Really, what should people get out of this the most, I should say?
Infrastructure, maintenance. I mean, I'm not in awe of 50 years of hip hop because I'm 13 years older than hip hop. So I ain't gonna be, oh my God, I'm not awestruck by it. I seen it peddling as a little toddler on a tricycle. I'm making sure that people don't drive it into a ditch. So the most important thing I'm a part of is the Hip Hop Alliance. It's hip hop's first union by elder founder Curtis Blow.
Yep.
Our chairman KRS-One, our treasurer MC Light, and the Hip Hop Alliance is something that I relish in my involvement with them, because alliance means that to be able to ally with all these other organizations out there. Universal Hip Hop Museum. I'm involved with the Hip Hop for Public Health with Dr. Olajide Williams and Laurie Benson, and also people like DMC and Dougie Fresh and Salt from Salt and Pepper involved with that. So organizations and the alliance of organizations is what we should be about. Hip Hop Alliance also is legitimized by the fact that it's in partnership with SAG-AFTRA. For many years of being a SAG member, I had to kind of get my SAG card by doing things on commercial TV through the Screen Actors Guild part of it being, you know, from the actors side. But this partnership with Hip Hop Alliance is able to have that same opportunity to get coverage and have your royalties looked after, to have your legacy and your estates mapped out and understood, to have a gigantic directory and Rolodex to people that would previously a mystery,
Right.
like incredible lawyers that for service, accountants, and people that really know the music business that you always ask questions and never got the answers, and usually you were referred to the same lawyer that that did the legals for the record company that they got double dipping. So at least there's information and this database and education and alliance of a lot of people who are the workers of the art form. The Hip Hop Alliance is really forming to answer to that, and aggressively so. The diligence of people like Tara Martin, um, and like I said, just the drive and the original meaning. Curtis Blow Jr., uh, incredible people, and sister named Andrea Le Musique, who's actually a structural person we just picked up. So exciting things for that, and this year, the 50th year, and also, like I said, it's not a standalone. It happens to be something that orbits around achievements and I would say the achievements and accomplishments of what the organizations are trying to achieve.
Yeah. And before we let you go, back to the app. The app launches. The soft launch is
Yeah.
Wednesday, the 15th of
Yes.
March.
Right. And I think you'll find it in the Google and Apple stores April 1st. So it's 2 weeks is necessary. Of course, even when the app comes out, we believe that it will be and have adversaries that will be hacked and attacked and all
Of
that other
course.
stuff that goes up, especially and lending my name to is the blessing and the curse, because it's like, oh, Chuck D's, this is Chuck D's thing. No, it's not. It's a service for the art form. It ain't Chuck D's thing, It's not like my personal pet dog, like people follow Twitter. Elon Musk brought it, and they ain't doing nothing about it. They don't know that man. And they don't know Mark Zuckerberg either. They sure enough on their formats.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I tell you, you don't know them people, and you really don't know me, but at least you know of me. And my service is not trying to take care of your social well-being at all. We're trying to keep it to music, art, film, word, culture. And that's why we feel that culture is greater than social in this aspect. Social's all over the place. Nothing wrong with with people on their they strip club and Pornhub sites as the conversation went, but you can't be mixing in the sandbox with kids. I mean, that's the thing about it. It's like in social media, everybody is invited to the party. I'm like, I don't want to be around no 18-year-old or 50. I don't want to be around somebody under 40. Really, they're not in my social. They're not even in my social ring, man. So.
Right.
But there is nothing to disseminate and separate and put boundaries in social media. You could be up there wasting your time next to somebody 12 years old, locked in the basement with wires in their head. We won't be uninviting to another demographic, Stacy.
Yep.
But we won't be overexciting to be able to lure that in. We ain't gonna be measured by algorithms and numbers.
Yeah.
Corporations got to we got to get our numbers up, or we got to get our numbers. Whenever you take a group of people and you damn it down to numbers, then anything can happen. Anything can be brought out at any time. We don't owe a gigantic investor. Like, all right, we got to show and prove, so we got to get up and do the Charlie dance. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, we got to show them numbers and spreadsheets. I'm like, the hell. We just gonna be what we are, and this is what it is. You know what it is? It's like that bar. And I was going up and hanging up posters and flyers for our events, our dances, do I use the word disco events, right, back in the day. And every once in a while we have our flyers, we want to leave some in this small little bar. And they got the jukebox, the same clientele. The lady who's talking behind the bar and the cigarette never drops off her bottom lip. Hey, baby, put them things over there on that jukebox, right? And the jukebox is playing Arthur Prysock, right? That bar already is like, they set in their way. You ain't changing that bar. That bar, they playing Arthur Prysock, Muddy Waters. They serving scotch or whatever black folk drinking at that bar. You know what I'm saying? And you bringing in this energy, you ain't gonna be hanging that bar because they ain't it. Now, if you want to bring like a young event to that bar, they're gonna be like, oh baby, we don't do that. We got, you know what I'm saying? That's what we are. You know what I'm saying? We deal with the hip hop demographic 35 and plus. This is what this is, but we're not uninviting. We're just
Right.
not going to be engaging to young demographics as our bottom feeder, and that's where a lot of cultural business goes wrong, because they always try to find, well, what are kids listening to? And nobody ever defines the age of a kid. But how old is a kid? Well, as somebody who's old, be like, a kid is like 31, like my daughter's age and stuff. I mean, like, they never define a kid.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, but we're not going to be uninviting. I said, we're going to be who we are and be able to have culture shine from its own standpoint.
It's called Bring the Noise, Bring the Noise, and you'll be
Yeah.
able to get it very, very shortly.
Yeah, you can
I
go
think
right now to
baseball.
bringthenoiseapp.com and already jump into it. Bringthenoiseapp.com will take you into it. It also has a top button that takes you into Rap Station, our 11 station hip hop demographic, and that's rare for any kind of media app, is that you can go right into our station into network. But we also understood when we have Rap Station that people listen with their eyes, and their gadgets could take them to a million different places. But radio and the sounds and music and songs are still important and to be curated. So that's what we do up there as an option. And you can definitely find that in the Apple and Google stores at rstvapp.com.
Yeah.
But we're very excited about the possibility of Bring the Noise because it deals with a lot of visuals.
Yeah. Well, I want to shout out one of your artists, Chuck, who good guy, Memphis Jokes.
Memphis
Everybody
Jokes.
follow him, because
Yeah.
this kid very humble and very good.
You guys,
So
you guys interviewed Memphis Jokes
yeah,
yet?
yeah. And
Yeah,
him and I talk a lot.
that's good. Yeah,
We talk a
he was
lot.
able to take it was able to shove off a lot of the hype of like, let's say, Bill Cosby, and look at Bill Cosby as a cultural icon, and not get caught up in his case dynamics, or
Correct.
whether
Yep.
he did it or didn't, and what he was accused of. He just kept it to the culture and what he had already done. And I just think sometimes when it comes down to it, it's like, if somebody gets caught up like in whatever they're doing or whatever, does that strip their accomplishments away?
Right.
Maybe in the white world they come up with things like, I mean, why are we kind of like watching, like, I mean, Hitler never leaves the TV.
Right.
I mean, every time I turn on the TV, Hitler is like in currency, man. It's like he's damn near the backing of, they might as well call a History Channel the Hitler Channel. Because I mean, but they never let that go. But I'm saying with us, it's almost like, well, yeah, it's easy to erase black people, period. So all we got to just do is get one little thing on them, or one big thing on them, and you ain't got to talk about anything they ever did.
Yeah.
So
Like it never happened.
Yep. So we will remove not only the Cosby Show, but you will never see I Spy or Let's Do It Again ever.
And what about the other folks on those shows, right? Malcolm Jamal Warner, Felicia Rashad, folks like that,
Well, damn them too, they say. So
Yeah.
this is why not only do you have to seize, people say, oh man, my platform, but you also got to seize your technology. And the problem that we're going to even know is convincing people that, okay, yeah, our water fountain says colored, but this water is just as good as that water. You think the white folks' water got ice in it? And they standing next to each other with the same pipe.
It's the mind. It's the mind. Man, Chuck D, the one and only Chuck D from Public Enemy. Hope to see Public Enemy out on the road at some point again. We're really hoping to see that happen.
I mean, that'll take me away from what I do and what I like to do.
Yeah.
But however, Flav and I, we have conversations like if I'm Mick Jagger and he's Keith Richards or vice versa, we want stadium treatment like the Rolling Stones, and then we'll do that. That's that. You know, it's with flavors like this, man. You talk, or you want flavors like this. Bring me the money. Flavors like that. And so because I'm the other half, I'm not really arguing them down.
Right.
I'm like, Flav, you keep asking for the money like that, but you know, you could come in a different way. And Flav is very frank. Like, I want money like that. And I'm like, well, okay. You know, I'm out of my half. I got to take care of the crew and all that other stuff going on. But I ain't gonna argue with him at 63. If he feels at 63 years old, well, he'll be 64 a day after we release app. Damn, you old.
Flav.
But
Flav, but he what's that clock for? You know what